Yeah, I know it's hard, isn't it?
It's yeah, it's really tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
For you, it's not gonna be tough for me.
Well, it's tough for me. It is, and it's tough because I'm all about people being human. Like that's my bigger theme. Yeah, we all have different cultural differences, racial differences, all of these things, but everyone is human and subject to the fallibility of anything of humanity. Now, for me, that doesn't mean that you get taken off. I let you off easy because you're human. That has nothing to do with it. But it does require in situations like this that I be fair. You're more black and white than me, I think.
I'm not. I just.
Then why are you not? Then why is it easy for you?
Because I don't need to qualify.
Yes, I do
anything
qualify.
I'm going to say with all of that.
I do qualify. Everybody should know that by now.
We're both assumed to be intelligent people, so there's no need to all that qualification.
You're working off your assumption.
Right, but come on.
Of yourself.
Get that in there.
I'm just saying, you're working off assumption of yourself. To be totally honest with you, not knowing anything more, I actually thought Black Lives Matter was initially, I thought it was just a hashtag that people just caught on to.
Now, is that because you hadn't been paying attention?
Because I hadn't been really. I knew that I saw
their message isn't getting out.
No. I saw the atrocities and I saw Black Lives Matter, and I just thought that was a hashtag that was made up and people latched onto because it was a really good hashtag.
How long did it take you to find out it was a movement?
Not long.
Okay.
But initially, I did not know that it was actually a group of people that made that up and that were actively an actual group. I didn't know that off top. So now, of course, on Facebook, it's, whenever something happens, you see it, whatever it is, whether it's the video, whether it's commentary, and then Black Lives Matter, and it goes, I guess, into that coding on Facebook or Twitter so that you can look it up. So that's where I got most of my initial information about it. You're not on Facebook, so I don't know.
I'm not. But so as a whole, as of today, what do you think of it?
I think it's a good tool, particularly on Facebook, with the hashtag. I think it's a good tool to consolidate not only commentary, but just the different hues of what's going on. Because typically, if there is an incident of any kind, you're going to put, if you talk about it or if you post it somewhere, you would put hashtag Black Lives Matter. The sentiment is a lot larger than those actual group of people. So it's a repository, if you will. A lot of times, when you put in Black Lives Matter, it's going to pull up everything that people have put that hashtag next to. So it's a repository, and I think that that's a good thing, for the images. So as far
let's
as
go
the
outside
group
of social media
itself,
for me. What's the group itself about?
I don't know if the posts are all connected to the group. You know what I'm saying? Like I could post something and then put #Black hashtag.
No,
Black
I
Lives
understand
Matter
that.
And not be actually connected to
and
whatever
so
they're doing on the
street.
street.
What that does is that makes them appear larger than what they might be. So if we come out of social media where everything appears larger than it is,
right?
If we come out of social media, what do you think about it then?
You know what? I don't know. Actually, I don't follow that actual particular group like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really follow what they do on a daily basis. I follow more of friends or whatever, or if I see something that is a part of their repository, I might look at that, but whatever their personal or group agenda is for the day, or whatever, where they're going to show up, or what rally or whatever, I don't know anything about that. Like right now, I couldn't tell you what they were doing. I would have to go. I don't even know if you would go to blacklivesmatter.com. I don't know.
There is a blacklivesmatter.com.
Okay, so or .org. You know, I don't know what it would be.
It's a .com. Strangely, you would think it would be a .org. Yeah,
I thought it would be a .org.
It is. Somebody check me on that. I'm good on my phone here in a little bit. If I'm wrong, I'll retract that. But I think it's a .com.
Wow. Okay. So, well, then I don't know. I can't even say that I've looked. Have you gone there?
I have been to the website.
Awesome. What do you think?
I have. I've been to the website.
I'm going right now.
And you kind of need a computer to be there, which is good.
Oh, okay.
It's not
going to work like
it'll
right
work. It's just there's a bunch of stuff. If you ever get time, and no one sits at a computer, but if you ever sit on a computer.
Hey, by the way, they note that we are a decentralized network aiming to build the leadership and power of Black people. I'm just pinching that out of their large.
Which is strange because they're
statement.
as centralized as I can think of. I mean, we know who their leaders are because their leaders are out there and they're extremely vocal.
Yes, but my question is, okay, question for you on that. Is it the same leaders that you're seeing everywhere?
They're the same
or
ones.
Is it really decentralized? Like maybe there's a leader in wherever, and they show up at whatever.
They want to say they're decentralized because there is a Chicago leader and a Philadelphia leader and maybe an Alabama leader or whatever. They want to say they're decentralized because of that.
Okay.
But if you have appointed leaders, you're centralized.
I see what you're trying to say.
Whether you want to be or not.
Okay.
So there's that. And they should be centralized. I don't know why they're trying not to be decentralized.
Twitter at DeadFreshCast and subscribe at iTunes.
I think they are important, like everything is important. Like everything for Black people is important. Even the things that we don't like, even the things that we don't agree with, we may not agree with their tactics, but they're all important. They all serve a purpose. They all serve a purpose. Having said that, this movement particularly doesn't know what it is, and it is as unfocused as a lot of startup movements are. And this is a critique of who they are now. It doesn't mean that they won't eventually turn into something that means a lot more, but they're not focused. If you read their site states things about we're the ones who are fighting for equality that were not shown in the
is that their part of their mission statement?
It's not part of their it's not part of their mission statement, but they have tons of these little articles on there, and they're saying in one specific article that we're the ones of the people that have been fighting that haven't been heard.
Okay.
So the homosexuals, the older people, let's say the people that were not strong enough to come out back then, we're those people. So they've already separated themselves.
I'm gonna have to find. Are you sure it's not part of their mission statement?
It's not part of the mission statement, but they have tons of articles that say who they are.
I think most people are kind of like me on this, where Black Lives Matter is definitely a repository of showcasing your opinion or the video of violence against Black people that is unnecessary,
right,
and totally, unwarranted. But I don't think people really understand Well, they understand it, but I don't know if people really know that they have like a demand. They have a demands list, and they have. I don't know if that's
which helps what I was saying earlier is that they have a focus problem, because we should know that.
right.
You didn't know that till you read it.
Yeah, I
You didn't. We don't. By the way, was it a .com? Tons of people don't even know this website exists. No, it's not.
It's a .com.
Oh, that's a .com. All right. So this is the problem. They have an issue where they like to be heard, be it by speaking, or be it by putting a pen to paper with these long ass demands. Like, that is unfocused. It's unfocused though. Can't you see? Like, it took you that long to read 5 of them. That's not a focused attack.
Interrupted.
Here's the thing. Because they stand for what they stand for, no one feels like they should critique it without really overstating how good the cause is. But that's where we, as people, screw up. We got to critique our own stuff. We got to critique our own movements. We can't just jump behind them just because they started out for the good. The first problem is they're on this Mike Brown Ferguson stuff, right? That's strike one. That's strike
Why?
one. Because he's not the example.
As a list of demands, I can understand what you're talking about.
He's not the one.
As a broader list of demands, I get that. But if they were to not have it as a broader list of demands, would you?
It's on their demands. You just read it.
I understand
so
that,
I can't
but what
say
I'm
if
saying,
not.
okay.
We're critiquing who they are.
Okay.
They are about, number one of that, first on the list was Mike Brown.
Because I think that most people, and I don't know, now see, this is where it gets a little hinky to me. Because I think that for many people, the Mike Brown situation was the one that ignited this whole thing, right? Even though black people had been getting killed,
right?
In crazy ways, unwarranted ways. But I don't now, and this is where the question is for me, is where are most of these people located? Is it there in St. Because
he's in, the whole Mike Brown was in Ferguson. I don't think these people are based in Ferguson.
And so my question is, for me, if they are listing Ferguson, I can understand it because it might have been one of the first places where this larger kind of thing ignited. But my question is that where they met? And that's why that would be on a demand list? Is that where they met and kind of got together and decided that this was going to be the thing?
I think regardless, it's flawed. You don't pick Mike Brown as your one.
If it is for that group, the place where they congealed, then maybe that is why that's there.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
Do you agree that he should be the one?
I think if you're going to talk about I'm okay. I think this. If you're going to be an organization or I guess a company who is saying you want a list of demands and you want to affect national policy, I think that in your About Us, if Ferguson was the place you guys congealed and came up and, hashtag Black Lives Matter happened and t-shirts were made and all of that, then that should be a part of the About Us, larger About Us thing.
But this is an opinion show.
But a demand list may not be the best place to talk about Mike Brown and what you exactly want from him. Because to me, you do not, because he isn't the example, not because of that. I say that because there's a whole host of ones that you're missing out on. That if you're gonna go
that were
just
much
for
better
Mike
suited
Brown
to be
not even better suited.
The poster child.
Do you not want to have anything pointed to do with them? But you want to have national policy on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you want pointed? Like, to me, that's really pointed. And I'm not saying it's pointed to the exclusion of others, but because you didn't put the others in because they're ongoing, and maybe you have to have like a webmaster who continually will update, every other day about the next one and the next name and the next name and the next name and the next name. It just seems like that one is so pointed. That must have been a seminal moment for you. And if so, say that. But your demand list should be about the national problem, which is many different instances.
Well, see,
not just Mike Brown.
And this is going to sound weird,
That's
but just hear me out. I actually respect the fact that they picked one. I just don't like the one they
Why?
picked.
Why?
Because
for what?
That's where they actually did focus. They've gone straight completely out of focus since then. At least they chose one. I just don't like who they chose. That's just my opinion. But at least they chose a name. So I understand that these things have to start.
I don't understand
with
how
a
you
name.
chose.
I just don't like
but I
who
don't
they
understand
chose.
that. I don't get that.
Because if you
Black
wanted,
Lives Matter encapsulates a lot of instances.
And that's the second problem.
Not one. He may have
problem.
kicked it off. And I think that you can say this for us, even though we are well aware that there has been systemic problems within our country or within the US of A, blah, blah, blah. For us, we were born in this moment. Our particular group was born in this moment. I get that. But everybody, I've used hashtag Black Lives Matter.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because there was something that I was a footage or whatever that I had.
So
and I wanted it to go into the repository. But I'm just saying that in this case, when you say that, when you point that out on your site and everybody's using it for all these different instances and everything that's coming up and is so popular in that way to make it something that is a one space for all of these problems that people can go and thumb through, I think that your effort, at least through social media, is way bigger. And Mike Brown, while maybe a beginning for your particular group, and I'm just saying that not knowing it, but maybe that's why it's pointed out on their demands, he needs to be a kickoff, but you need to encapsulate what it actually is encapsulating, which is the larger movement of people becoming aware and it's more of an awareness movement to me.
Which is not a good thing.
Why?
When you're not the people in power, it doesn't make a lot of sense to just scream, "Look what you have done to us." It gets nowhere.
Right.
To just scream, "This is what we done. This is what you're doing to us. Look what you're doing to us. Look what you're doing to us." Everybody knows that half the people, if not 75% of the people, are just there because that's the thing to be there for the day or the week. That's the flavor of the week. Once those people leave, which they kind of have, because this whole movement is starting to kind of get small. Once those people leave, what then? You can scream, "Look what you've done to me" all day. But when you're not the people in power doing it, the people in power
Miles,
just kind of shrug at
this. I think it is important.
And who's not aware? Who wasn't aware?
Well, it's not. Well, we are aware for
but
sure.
Who wasn't aware?
No, stop.
I'm asking.
We were aware. But I don't think that we had a place for these moments.
You had Facebook and Twitter long before
this.
Yes,
but it wasn't a concentrated place. And right now, there is a concentrated place for these moments. You see something, you put hashtag Black Lives Matter behind it. It goes whenever you go up. If you decide you were going to go on Twitter and put Black Lives Matter, the stuff I've put hashtag Black Lives Matter on, the stuff that whoever else puts Black Lives Matter on, you're going to see all of that in one place.
But
hold on. And so I think you have to give that, Because before Mike Brown, before any of Black Lives Matter and all of this, yeah, we know what's going on, but it's disseminated. It's not any, you got to go and find the article right now, Miles. You would have to go find that article unless hashtag Black Lives Matter, unless someone went back, found it for you.
So is social media all they are? Because
no, I don't think it's all they are, but I think that sometimes when you're dealing with a larger power structure, like for instance, when we argue all the time, right? You always say to me, well, give me an example.
Yeah.
Right? So in this case, before this moment where you have this concentrated place where you have all this stuff, right? You have to go and find it. Well, I know over here in this place over here, this happened. And I know over there in this place, this happened. And nobody really said anything about it. Nobody's eyes were on it. It's, you don't have a lot of commentary. Now there is this bulk place where you have a large amount of incidents and you have a large amount of commentary on it. And I think that you have to give credence to that, even if
you want to know why I don't give credence to it?
Even if you're not affecting the larger legal system right now. Point? The point is there is going to come a point where the larger legal system is going to be affected. And I think you have to be able to point to something. You have to have a place and a movement and a space where you're not just pulling from small bits and pieces from different places. You're saying, no, there's a large group of people who are invested in this, who pay attention to it every time you do it, who, when it happens in Texas, it's up there. When it happens in North Carolina, it's up there. When it happens in this, it's up there. And I think that that's important, and you have to give that
What would you say to the people, who's me, who would say that this is the 2015 version of We Shall Overcome Someday?
I would say that...
Because you just said there will be a point, but there's no definition on that. And why would there be a point? Well, we saw a man get choked out in high def.
Right.
We saw a man die in high def.
And guess what? Let me just say this.
We saw a man get shot in the back 6 times on TV.
Let me say this, and I'm not saying it's all better, but I'm saying that more and more you have police departments who are investing in body cameras, which it may work, it may not. We don't know.
Choked to death on high def.
It may work, it may not. But when you don't have a camera, then what? Even more of that, right? And you have to. My thing is, Miles, nobody's working within a place where you have power. Nobody. Me, you, nobody.
Which is why we should critique these things that we're critiquing.
Right. We are critiquing it. But what
I'm critiquing it. No, you're kind of not.
I am critiquing it. But what I'm saying is that I'm going to, like I said when I opened up, I'm going to be fair.
But you've been fair. We've been
I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be fair. I've already said I don't agree with you pointing. You like on the demands the Mike Brown specificity. I don't.
Okay.
I think that the Black Lives Matter is larger. It might have stemmed for them and them creating the hashtag and the movement from the Mike Brown Ferguson situation. But you're now a larger thing, and you need to encapsulate everything that's happening if you're going to be this group, even as decentralized as you say you want to be at this point. You gotta take in what's actually happened, because I don't really know much about you, but I could put Black Lives Matter, hashtag Black Lives Matter, and it's going to go into a place that has your name on it.
On social media that we don't own. So it goes into this spot.
My question to you is this.
Hold on. It goes into this spot that we don't control, that we don't own.
So what are you saying?
And what I'm saying is what you're saying. If the best they have is social, that should be a small arm of who you overall are. Meaning, if we were to talk about
this, what do you want them to do?
If this was a real organized thing, the social media part would be an arm. It would be something we would look at and say,
I don't think in today's day it would be
you know what,
an arm.
they got that too. No, it is, because this is a political movement.
No.
So there's got to be substance.
No.
Social media is not substance.
I don't think in this
There's
day,
nothing
no,
substance
Miles,
about
to
social
me,
media.
to me, in my personal opinion, knowing the history of political movements, particularly black political movements in this country, the best thing they have going for them is social media.
It's the only thing they have.
That's
going for them.
and it's the best one.
But it's
because
because
as
it's the only.
we know the history of political movements in this country. We know that. We are not unclear about how they're shut down. We're not unclear about how they are radicalized. We're not unclear about any of these things. So the best thing they have going for them are the facts and what is posted. When you post up an incident, when you post up a someone on TV saying something crazy, when you post up any of that, when you have comments, you see then the variety of people that have the same comment. The best thing they have going for them is the social media, because it shows the larger system, if you will, that it's not just this small group of people that feel this way. It is a large group of people, and you keep doing the same thing. And whether these people have power or not, they don't like it. It's the best thing they have going for them, because they can't be right at this point marginalized into a small group of radical people that should be shut down. They can't be they can't, because it's crazy what you look at on Black Lives Matter. If Black Lives Matter, when people post it, when people hashtag it, it's showing different flavors of people doing that. Like, this is crazy. Everybody's seeing the same thing. You are out there killing people in cold blood.
Okay.
So
Again.
it's the best thing they've got going for them.
Right.
Sorry, but
No.
it's true. Twitter at DeadFreshCast and subscribe at iTunes.
You just was like really up on the thing that they do well, which is social media.
Mm-hmm.
And you never been to their site. You. And the reason why this is important is because you are a person that will dig a tad bit deeper and see what things it was about. So if you hadn't been to their site till today,
Not even once.
what's wrong with that?
I'm not agreeing.
I'm not
with their
saying that you
substantive.
should have. I'm saying
I'm not.
who else is?
I'm not saying. You know what?
If you haven't read their mission statement,
I'm not agreeing.
and you have posted Black Lives Matter according to what you said,
Yes.
and you have not read their, you have hopped on a train,
I
and
hopped
you don't
on
know
it.
who's driving.
And let me tell you, I've hopped on it because at this point they can't control.
That's why I say
the
social media
hashtag
ain't
Black
about
Lives
anything.
Matter. They can't control that. So, and I know that. So I've hopped on it because I like the idea that you can. I have been sold it within myself.
Right, because you had to sell
Within
yourself.
myself,
They didn't sell
on
you.
the idea that we can place all these small, great, big, little, medium incidents, all these comments, all of our thoughts in one place. I like that idea because it makes what is happening to Black people large. It makes it something that Black people feel about it when we see it. It makes it, because when you see the white people talking about it, when you see, that's good to me. And that's necessary. The question then becomes, if they do it, do they have meat? If the meat is anything worth talking about?
Well, it doesn't.
I
Appear,
don't know.
It doesn't appear
I just
they
read
do.
demands.
I've followed them a little bit more than you have, and I don't have the social media, so the only thing that I have is the meat or whatever that they call
You
meat.
have
So
what they are, not
have
their
social
larger
media.
presence.
Right. You have social media presence on lock. I don't have Facebook, so I don't have it. Their actual meat, I don't know. I mean, they appear a couple times. They're talking heads here and there. They're young.
How young?
They're extremely, they're all 20s. They're extremely passionate.
You said
which
that
is
bad, like that was bad.
No, it's not. That's where you get passion from. It's from
Okay.
people in their 20s.
Okay.
But with any successful movement, and there haven't been very many successful ones, but with any successful one, there's a couple things that you need. You need a long-term. I mean, the things that you list, the things that you have in store should be long-term. None of these things are going to happen in the short term. These things that they list as their demands, they're short-sighted. You want Mike Brown's shooter who was on what? ABC News? You want that guy to go to jail? It's over. That's a short-term goal. Whenever you have a you have a movement that I've seen that's successful, the goals are long-term. They may not happen in your lifetime. Typically, they don't. Right? Typically, they don't. You die, and someone has been trudging through. All these people have just been trudging through. Whether they make noise sometimes or whether they don't, they trudge through it. The second thing that you need are old people. They have none. This is where you get your wisdom. This is where people who've been to school and they actually know how to set up a thought, a actual combined philosophy that some will agree, some won't, but logically it's sound, and they don't have that.
When you say old, how old?
I mean, somebody that has spent their life reading books.
Can I argue?
Sure.
I would say that the reason why you might not see that is because every quote unquote older person or old person we see get on TV, I don't think many young black people have a lot of respect for.
No, that's true.
And so I think that defeats, because there's a part of what we know as the establishment, right? That there's even a black establishment.
Right.
Okay. And so having their voice included, I think for some may be defeating the purpose.
Well, here's the deal. I don't mean that black guy or that room full of old black people should ever speak. But you can tell by their lack of focus, they're not there.
But you just want them to help them write
help
them
not
write
about
it. Like, okay,
no.
I'll leave you with your ideas, but I just want to put some grammar in
look,
here. What are you saying?
The ones that fail, what was it? Occupy Wall Street, right? That was huge. It didn't do shit. It didn't do nothing. It didn't do anything. And it failed because it was viewed on people that were young and just people that were just passionate.
And maybe because they were talking about Wall Street, and a lot of people, whether you have it organized,
but where
or not,
is it now?
But my thing,
when you have
I
youth
would say,
and passion, and that's it.
I get what you're saying, but I also think that you're talking about Wall Street, and the best of them don't get Wall Street.
I don't want to get too long on that.
I'm just saying,
that's an example of one that was.
That's
an example of one that was actually big, and it wasn't centralized. It's everything that Black Lives Matter wants to be, and it isn't. It was actually a bunch of just people doing whatever the hell they wanted, showing up in front of Wall Street, right? It really was that, and that fizzled out because it was passion and it was youth, and that ain't never gonna win. That never wins. And I'm not saying that old people should speak, but you can tell they don't have them. There's nobody that puts their views in perspective, because with any kind of movement, you gotta have the thought, the real thought, the actual homework of thought of, I wrote this, but I didn't write this quite right. Let me write it again. Let me say, let's think about what happened here and bring it to here. They don't have any of that. They just don't have it. They're a bunch of 20-year-olds, which is cool, who are passionate. As we're going to talk about later, their passion. And this is, you just shrug. If you're the establishment, you shrug at it. It will go away, is what I would think if I was the establishment. As long as they don't have any real meat behind this, and if social media is all they got, we ain't got nothing to worry about.
To me, you're not fighting anything anymore with a organized structure that's just like the old way. Like you're not going to go like in modern. You're not going to go modernistic anymore, or you're going to have to go postmodern. And in postmodern, social media is the thing. It's everybody's voice saying something.
I don't believe that.
You have to.
I don't believe that, and I know I sound like the old guy, but I don't
You
believe
do
it
sound like the old guy.
because the actual work is done in places of actual work. You still have to have a lobbyist. You still have to go
But
get
what
stuff
I'm saying,
put on the
Miles,
floor.
I get what you're saying.
It's done the way it's done.
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that the sustaining effort of continuing to fight through that and have that so that your modern way can work, so that your modern way can filter in, the way that happens in the sustaining of it is the postmodern way.
Here's
And the
another
reason why
that.
why I say that is because you don't get to radicalize it.
What I'm saying is you still have to, you can't have social media without substance. You can praise it all day. It's what you're doing. You can praise it for what it does all day. But you know what? Even you, a thoughtful person, ain't been to the website till today. So what does that say about everybody else?
No, I'm not.
People that can't even vote are on that thing.
Miles,
they don't count. You think they count? They don't. To the establishment, they don't count.
Miles.
I'm asking them to have something behind it, and all we have, like, that's them. That's not a particular arm of them. That's just them. That's who they are. It's social media. If ever Facebook or Twitter went down for 6 days, who are they?